Chicky, ready?
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Talofa family, what a beautiful time to be here. This is the Gets Done show. We on the road, one of my brothers right here. We finally got to connect. And before we start, I want to give all the glory back to God, to our Heavenly Father, blessing these grounds that we are at here at the Polynesia Culture Center, here at the Samoan Village. Thank you. Shout out to Fune, Chris Paul and his crew for allowing us to be here to use this ground that our ancestors has blessed, and also allow us this platform. My brother here, Kia, he has his own platform, but what a blessing to be here. It's an honor to have him on the show where we get to reset, rebuild, reconnect. So whatever you're doing at this time, pause, stop, hold, sit back and relax and enjoy this journey as we take you on. We're going to go so many ways. You don't want to miss this. But first, I want to turn the time over to Mauso. Just share a little bit about your background and of yourself, introduce yourself, and we go from there. Welcome to the show, my man.
First off, thank you for having me. And Fune, Chris, and Grass of Pain.
Yeah.
I could tell when they saw us show up and we weren't here for the workout. Like, well, what are you guys here for? But thank you for having me. And I just think it's amazing, the power of the internet. The algorithm is strong.
Yeah.
Because
amen.
Just a couple months ago, I'm scrolling through YouTube like we all do, and I came across a video, and it was one of your videos talking about your journey of the Tatao. And for whatever reason, the backdrop, the ambiance you had set up caught my eye initially, but then I was like, oh, let me give it a listen. And it was one of those videos I could not stop listening to because it felt like some of those self-loop discussions I have with myself. You were just sitting those notes. I started leaning in, and it was just such a powerful story that after I got done watching the video, I texted a good friend of mine who he and I had been talking about the Tatao journey. And I said, do you know Snuka? You ever seen his podcast? And he knew of you. And I told him, after watching his video, I'm convinced, like all the questions I had, all the reservations I had, you had addressed them literally one by one, like you were reading my mind. And I thought, so powerful. I would love to sit and pick his brain. And then 3 nights ago, you're picking me up from the airport. We're sitting, eating fried chicken, the healthy chicken, right? We were having fried chicken on the hood of your truck and just talking. I was like, this is so surreal. It's like one moment, I'm watching this powerful message you were giving. And the next, I'm back home, back here in Hawaii, eating, talking story. I just want to say thank you for having me on your show. It's a phenomenal podcast. I've watched several of the episodes over and over, and it feels like every one of them's got some golden nugget of knowledge.
Appreciate it.
You have this wonderful gift of being able to extrapolate that information for people.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me. And I'm so honored to be here in the first place.
Thank you. And that's how we met. Just like that right there. I was going to go into it, but he covered that, and we are here at this time. And the power of internet, it brought us here. It feels like we've known each other for so long. And that is all from reconnecting, knowing where we're aligned and knowing the vision where you're trying to go, and connecting with each other that we're trying to move forward with all that we do. And I'm happy that you got to be here and blessed to have you here. And I thank you for sharing that. And yes, not too many people can meet on the internet and say, hey, let's meet up and let me pick you up.
You know what's funny? We were out the other day and we were chatting the way we are. We just like picked up with that natural connection. And somebody asked, well, how do you guys know each other? We're like, oh, we met through the internet. Like, you guys haven't known each other long? Well, this is our first time meeting. I just think that's powerful. But that's also the power of it is meeting people with like-minded that have these shared beliefs or shared interests, and you could just connect right away. You get past all that surface level, getting to know each other. Like,
skip all that.
Let's bypass all that. This is a good person. And we connect right away.
And thank you so much. I want to dig into you a little bit about your background. I follow you. I read your stuff, your physical journey, your um, your job. How did you get into? Well, first, let everybody know what you do.
Okay. Well, I guess let me formally introduce myself. Stuka did a great
Yeah.
job. My name is Tuala. I am 41 years old. I'm married, going on my 20th year. 20 years.
Same. I'm
I'm catching
21.
up.
21.
Okay.
21.
I'm just
22,
behind
I
you.
think. Yeah.
20 feels like 40, but babe, if you're listening, I love you. Going to 20 years of marriage, I have a very loving and supporting wife.
Amen.
Pretty much like yourself. Your wife is such a sweetheart.
Thank you.
3 boys. I'm a boy dad. 19. He'll be 19 tomorrow.
Wow.
Sonny, shout out to Sonny. My oldest is Keanu. He is a freshman at University of Kansas pursuing medicine. Of all things. So you want to go to school for 20 years?
Wow.
Super smart. My middle son's 17. He's going to be a senior next year, and we have a 9-year-old son at home. And my family grew up in Missouri, of all places. Born in California. I'm one of 14 kids in my family.
Yeah.
And 9 boys, 5 girls. Very, very close knit
Big family.
family. Brought up in the LDS church, and my dad is full blood Samoan, and my mom is Jewish, of all things. But we were brought up, Fat Samoa through my dad.
Yeah.
In the Missouri version, Missouri/California version of that. So that's a little bit about my background personally. Professionally, I am a firefighter, paramedic. Current ranking of engineer at the department where I'm at. Just means I can drive a truck and operate the ladder in the pumping systems. But there's only so much of that. And in the fire service, we do such a good job on prevention that we don't have a lot of fires. So we do a lot more of the prevention side. And so I got into paramedicine, or becoming a paramedic, to be more hands-on and involved, and actually started my working career wanting to get into nursing. Flirted with the idea of medicine, not as smart as my son. This is 27 years ago. And found more getting out of it, more of the return on doing more of the hands-on and working with people and being able to get the job satisfaction that way. So started off doing that, worked as a certified medical assistant. We basically check people in, take vital signs. I got to a point where I was taking x-rays, performing different sleep studies, breathing studies, and got a chance to really get a good feel for all the different disciplines of medicine. So floated from like private practice, which is like a doctor's own practice, to the clinical side, which is more lab driven, data studies, and even hospital work. So got a chance to see it at all those venues. But here's the thing: is that you're just in this spot, and just like the setting we have today, being outdoors, doing something a little different with your day to day, is what really drew me to firefighting. Because every day is different. And then when I found out that you could work out with your buddies and get paid for it, and do some
why not, right?
Yeah, so that's what like.
That's a plus.
You guys get paid to do this. Did a ride along, and ended up from that day on, I was convinced that I wanted
be a firefighter.
Yeah, I was like, if I can make it, this would be such a cool job.
That is a cool job, because I see, at one point that was one of my job. I wanted to be a firefighter. I don't think nobody knew this. You know what I mean? Now you know.
It's a tell-all.
Now you know. But at the point I say, well, maybe I passed the age. Is there an age, right? You age limits. I think I passed the age to become a firefighter. But I am always so impressed when I see firefighters. They're almost like they're always the first one on site. And always, when I see them, I'm like, oh wow, these are the cool guys. I see them in a truck, I'm like, oh, those are the cool guys right there, man. They come into the shopping center, buy their healthy food. These are the cool guys, and also they're in shape, and that's what I love about what you guys do. You know what I mean? Like you said, you were in like an office or something like that, but when you got out, you're more in your element. Is that?
It's more active. And so when I worked clinical setting and hospital setting, as far as physical activity and the physical component of that is very minimal. Sitting at a desk, it's very common for hospital workers,
Yeah.
providers, and people in a clinical setting. It's like an office job.
Yeah.
You're pretty sedentary. You're typing notes and not moving a whole lot.
Yeah.
And when I work private practice, pharmaceutical reps,
Mm.
they bring samples of medications. And what they want is these doctors to write more scripts of their particular
Mm-hmm.
drug or whatever company it was. And they'd
Yeah.
always bring food. And so every day of the week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, we'd
Yeah.
be getting catered in food. And they're trying to make a good impression on the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always the best food. So
Yeah.
I found myself not very sedentary,
Yeah.
eating this amazing food every day. And even at a young age, put it on quick. And so
Mm.
that's why when I did that ride along, I thought the same thing. Wow, these guys are like superheroes. They
Yeah,
throw on these,
That's what I thought too.
like they throw on these uniforms and they go and do stuff, and they're all in amazing shape.
Yeah.
So,
And we're saying nothing wrong for those of you that love to sit in the office and,
No.
type. You know what I mean? That we're not saying that. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at like you're like this coconut in this basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all you can. That's your circle right there. That's you're
That's it.
stuck right there. You know what I mean? And some of us want that, but I think you say let's go to a ride along,
Yeah.
and explore what's out there. That's you going.
just-
that's our explanation.
I had to get out of the basket.
Get out of the basket and go explore. And then some are tied in, some are we can't. We gotta let our arms, our wings fly, and
Mm.
I think that's where that's the passion. That was our little,
That's
yeah.
a great way. That was a great analogy. And in the same way you did that, that was one of the precursors for me. Is I still played rugby, and so
Mm.
that was my way to still being around other Polynesians, Samoans,
Okay.
Tongans. All these guys would come out of town and play. And I was working hospital work, and I'd be out there, and I wouldn't be able to keep up.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of those guys worked for Kansas City Fire, and they'd always be telling me at practice, like, hey, you should do this. Like, you should do firefighting. Come check out one of our ride-alongs. And eventually, one of those practices I gave in, I was like, I'll come check it out.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things that, for a friend of my mind, that hey, I could get back in shape and play rugby. It was really what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I could potentially get paid to work out, hang out with my buddies. And
Right.
I didn't really see a whole lot of downside.
Uh-huh.
And rugby was one of the precursors. So when you give the coconut a toss like that, it's like he either knows this the backstory or just intuitive with it.
That's all it is. I did not know you play rugby too. In your profession right now, firefighter, what are some of the things that you love to do? Share a little bit about the surrounding or the backstage at your work. How is the brotherhood, or what are some of the biggest pluses from helping or from what you do in the firefighter?
That's a great question. When I was looking at it, what drew me to the fire service
Mm-hmm.
is how many similarities it had to family in the way we were brought up in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's looked at as a close-knit family. Everybody's very close. There's this level of trust between everybody in this family unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a clear line of authority.
Mm.
And so being in a big family, one of 14 kids, there was always somebody that was the oldest.
Yeah.
And there's always this power structure, which is for me, my simple mind, that helps me because I know my place. I know what my duties are. There's expectations. And there's also a ton of pride in what you do.
Mm.
And getting into the workforce, having been in the hospital, not that it was a bad job, but I saw that and I thought, oh, that's so much like rugby. That's so much like family.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So all the other things aside, that was one of the things that really drew me to it.
Yeah. If I could do it again, I'll go. I would want to be one of those cool guys who dressed up, boom, and run, boom, boom, put on the uniform, slide down the pole.
We have a pole at our station. We had somebody stop by the other day, and a group of girls, and they go, "Can we slide down your guys' pole?" I'm like, "Are you just going around knocking on fire stations' doors?" We didn't let them. It's a safety risk. But it's amazing. That's usually the second question people ask us.
Do you slide down the pole?
Yeah. Do you guys have a fire pole? Yeah.
That is so funny, man. Hey, I saw this clip. No, thank you for sharing. Walk us through what happened on the airline. That clip I saw you put on. I was like, what happened?
So there's a video online that a good friend of mine posted, of me getting giving assistance. It was medical assistance on a flight.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had hopped on this flight from Kansas City. We're going to Arizona to watch my son play soccer. He plays competitive soccer,
Yeah.
so we were headed there that day. And right after takeoff, the
we are back. What were you saying again, brother? Yeah, what happened on that flight?
What he's talking about is a video clip on Instagram. I'm guessing that's
That's the one.
So I had this video on Instagram go semi-viral, getting shared a lot. It's of me giving medical assistance to another passenger on the plane. So the plane takes off. The flight attendant announces that they're in need of medical assistance, and if anybody has any medical training at all, to just please come up front. And they needed some assistance. And I was all the way in the back, and I wasn't even supposed to go on this trip. And I'm thinking, please, somebody else jump up. I'm way back there.
Yeah.
Give it the old 1,000, 1,000, and nobody got up. So I just went. Let me just go check. Most of the time, they're false alarms, and nothing's really going on. Someone's maybe nauseous, and get up there. And there's a gentleman up there that was experiencing a true medical emergency. Looked very pale, cool diaphoretic, which just means they're sweating, a little gray. You could just look at somebody in my line of work. We call it, look at them and determine if they're sick or not sick. He looked like a very sick person to me. Had passed out and just tried to figure out what was going on. And so the flight had just taken off. And I was really thinking to myself, it was a full flight. And we had to get to a soccer game. I was thinking to myself, please don't turn this plane around because we'll be late to the soccer. They'd please be all right. Ended up, this gentleman had open heart surgery just 2.5 weeks or so prior. Had some major arteries rerouted. They call it a cabbage procedure, and still recovering from that. But the medications they put you on after that too as well tend to affect your blood pressure. And what elevation, that changes some of the dynamic in your body. And he was very hypotensive or very low blood pressure. And so that's something we worry about because then the brain can't perfuse. And it's probably why he was having these episodes where he was passing out. Ended up giving him just some fluids and had some medications drawn up to help his blood pressure. Thank goodness we didn't need to go down some of those medication routes because I would have had to do some math, do some calculations at 30,000 feet. But he ended up perfusing oxygen. They have all those things on planes. Did you know that? They have the whole, call them ACLS life kits. But super happy with the outcome. And that was it. But somebody somewhere, we all have phones, was filming it. A bunch of people had their phones out. And that's how it ended up on a video. I had shared it with my buddy Scar. I was like, hey, you wouldn't believe what happened on this flight. And I sent him a picture because me and the gentleman took a pic. He was like, I'm headed to a birthday. Got to get a picture with you? I was like, sure. Told him about it. He was able to find footage and put up a video. And
wow, that is so cool.
Millions and millions of people have seen it. It was like 10 million the last time I looked at it.
That is so awesome to be on the plane and use your skills, your gift, your talent. You know, you said, somebody go. You know, but I think that heart, that desire, and you're like, no, I got to step up, right? That's part of your tautua. That's part of what you do, your service, like you go and serve, and just to use that gift. And what a blessing to, you know, for that, and just to be on the right flight at the right time, man.
We were on the right,
you know, and you guys never turned around. You guys kept going.
We landed, went to soccer,
and everything went well.
Went about our day, but it was literally the next morning. I thought something's up because my phone is not. Like the kids call them dry. My phone is always fairly dry. No one's texting me. My phone was blowing up. I was like, what is going on? And that's when I found out about the video because people were seeing me on there and reaching out. People I hadn't heard from in a long time. It's insane how quickly information.
And that is such amazing. Wow. Always got to be prepared. Never know, because we can be doctor, we can be a superhero at any given time and at any given moment. You know, I have a doctor's degree too, but I'll tell you guys about that later. You know, I'll share about that, the birth of our daughter. You know, like Tajana.
Did you deliver?
I deliver her in a van.
I gotta hear about this.
You know, my wife is here, and you know, that's what I said. You know, We can be a doctor, firefighter. We have a lot of titles.
Mm.
Depending the time it calls, we gotta just be ready and go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We just gotta be ready and go and just be guided by the Spirit. So thank you for sharing that. I'll share that episode of Tajana's birth another time. This is not about me. This is about Kia the man here. Let's go into your health, because you look amazing. And I saw some photos of you. You still look good, but you were thicker then.
Mm.
You know, what was that transition? What happened, or what made you kind of went into your fitness? Because you are a coach too, and kind of guided into that. What was that journey like? What happened?
You know, a lot of the same ways, the similarities that were around when I was doing hospital work, and I found myself heavier, just wanting to do something different, and still having the desire to go play rugby or just be active. It hit me with my fire career. I'd been 10 years in, was perfectly comfortable with where I was.
Yeah.
Not really looking to make a bunch of waves or do anything more. I was really complacent. And we have the saying in the fire service that complacency kills. So that means, all right, I know how to do that. I don't need to train. And your skills go lacking. But I had done that with my health.
So true, man.
With my health.
We all do that.
And it catches up quick. And so everything's different post 2020 for everybody. But it was during that time frame where I had a lot of time of self-reflection, and I was in the worst shape of my life. For me, I was as heavy as I've ever been. And we started implementing annual physicals at my department. And that's where they draw your blood, you do all these testings. And I came back with my results, going over it with the provider, and just kind of looked at me and was like, well, yeah, you're pre-diabetic. We'll probably have to start you on medication if you go this route. You're in the higher index of your body mass. You're essentially a walking heart attack waiting to happen. And here I am in pre-hospital stuff and supposed to be this person that at least sets an example for some of the things that we treat. And it was me on that side of the table. So that was really like the aha moment. It wasn't if, but when I was going to be diabetic. And the number one killer of firemen, it's not fires, it's cardiac diseases.
Wow.
And I was like, am I going to be another stat? Am I going to be another person in my family that gets diabetes? And it just all hit me. That was just what I was thinking to myself. And literally before I walked into that meeting, my twin sister had texted me and told me that she was just diagnosed type 2 diabetic.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh man, that's terrible for her. And then I get the same news minutes later. So I feel like everybody has this coming to moment where you're like, crap, what do I do? Either keep doing this or initiate some change. And that was really what got me started.
And that is so true, because we get too comfortable. And I'm guilty of that too. You know, I share with my wife every time, and I think I share with you too. Like, I cheat because I just eat junk. I eat whatever because I know I can go to the show and burn it out, or I stay active in what I do. And for me, that's not good. I tell my wife, this is not good. You know what I mean? And I get hard on myself on that. Like, no, this is not good. And you're right. We're good at what we do, but all of a sudden we get too comfortable. And that's when it's almost, if we don't catch it early, then you're having a harder time. Now you're putting all these more coconuts into the baskets.
To the wrong basket.
Into the wrong baskets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now when we're trying to be healthy again, trying to get all these bad, whatever it is, you know, it's a struggle. And I think we all fall into that. And we all need to do a better job in our physical and mostly in our own spiritual health too, because those got to go together.
Absolutely. I think it's hard to differentiate or separate the two.
Yeah.
To try to work on your physical with not being invested spiritually and mentally.
Yeah.
It's really doing yourself a disservice, because it's all one.
Yeah.
It's all one system. And I guess that begs the question. So which one do you address first? The physical or the mental?
Yeah.
And for me, it was the physical. I felt like I could think my way through things, but this house ain't gonna get clean no matter how much I think about how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then just in our upbringing too, everything's on the physical side is just get it done.
Yeah.
with the threat of physical pain. So I feel like that's one of our motivating factors is, all right, if I don't do this, pain or a consequence. And so for me, it was very easy to initiate the physical part of that. And by starting to see some of the wins, started helping me out with the emotional and spiritual part of that.
And that is so cool too, because that's natural for us to do the physical part. But how can we be better in the spiritual part? Because that needs to be strong with the physical, or even stronger than the physical. Because sometimes people here that are spiritual don't have the physical, but that helps kind of balance that up to help their physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people that hear physical to help gain their spiritual, they almost kind of go this route to gain that confidence again, to kind of like that spiritual side. 'Cause I fell into that too. I felt like, oh, I have to build my body, but I was forgetting about the spiritual. But I wasn't complete. I still didn't feel whole, because I was going into my ego self, like, no, I gotta look good. I gotta look good out because the job that I do. But then I was forgetting my spiritual side. So I had to dig more into my spiritual side, so it helps with my physical side. So think about it. What if some people that cannot work out or don't have arms and legs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or in wheelchair.
Yeah, I would say that's probably something everybody is mulling over in their brain.
Yeah.
And if you have no physical limitations, then by having the transformation in your mind first, the body follows.
Yeah.
And so having that good framework of thinking, I think is very powerful. And it doesn't need to be a big win. I think we all have
We're looking for that now.
Yeah. Well, we want the thing that gets looks and something that immediately gets a payoff. I want the 6-pack abs. I want the 20-inch biceps. But it's the I was looking, I was like, yeah, they gotta be 20. Everybody wants that.
Too much physical. Too much physical.
I want to say the key
no, you're
for
going,
me,
brother. Go ahead, brother.
The key for me is when I didn't put the focus on those things.
Yeah.
When it was rooted in something that was a lot deeper, had more meaning spiritually and mentally, the physical parts came.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what it was about. So you talked about, you're in show business. So I want to put on this good appeal for the show. But it maybe at the time wasn't rooted in what you were really trying to address.
Absolutely.
But when you address that either with your mentality or your spiritual things, then like the physical part comes. That's like a byproduct of it.
Yes, exactly.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. And that is so true. So I hope you caught us on that one about the physical and spiritual, they go hand in hand, and whatever works for you. And that's what I found for myself.
Yeah.
I like I said, I went too much physical, and don't forget about the spiritual too. They gotta go connect together. And so now you're a coach, brother, and I want to pick your brain more about that. How do you do that? Like what went into that? How you got started with that?
And so being in a role where at my job, I'm teaching a lot anyways. I'm teaching newer members. I'm an instructor at the academy. I also do some of the medical training for like EMTs and some of the paramedic skills that we have. So I found myself in this role. I'm teaching people things, essentially coaching them is what I'm doing. And the best part of that is being able to try to give somebody a new skill and have them do it and then not need you afterwards. I don't want to be here having to show you how to start an IV every time you need to start one.
Right.
The goal is I give you the tools and then you can apply those tools for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Teach a man to fish rather than just give him fish.
Right.
And by then I feel like you're serving them at a higher level.
Yeah.
Because you're passing that knowledge through. And when I went through my transformation and changing my health physically, I was like, well, that's a skill. And I learned a lot about myself and what I did, how you share your story and your insights, and maybe it might help somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what the coaching is. because most of it's not physical. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
And I do exclusively online coaching, so I'm not physically there spotting on reps. A lot of it's getting over the emotional and spiritual part of it.
That's the one right there. That's the one right there.
It is. I should have been a therapist because I feel like that's
We are
a
a
lot of it.
therapist. We are the therapist on the road. We are a therapist. We certify. Let's certify each other. There we go. We're certified. So if you need help, hit us up. We're therapists on the road. Like I say, we can be so many hats at any given moment, at any given time. Because what you're teaching, what you're sharing is something we all know already and hear.
Yeah.
But just some people need a little guidance. You know what I mean? Need a little, one-on-one. Because they're not ready to go out and work with everybody else. Need a little boost me up, or just hear something, just by hearing your voice, it might just change their thought. Oh, okay, let me just go for a walk. Things that they know already, things that we know, we just need somebody to say, hey, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go, even if you ate the ice cream, it's okay. Keep going, keep this is where the mental come in, yeah?
Yes.
Keep that mind happy, keep that spirit happy, and don't shut yourself down, pull yourself down, and because you stepped off maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
Because we do that to ourselves, that guilt trip. You know what I mean? You want to share a little bit about that? Because that's one of the toughest things, right?
It is a little bit of that self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Where you're almost...
Great word, self-sabotage.
Sabotage.
Yeah.
Where you're almost like success avoidant. Where, you're right on the cusp. You're like, that means I could probably do it. So I won't.
Yeah.
It sounds counterintuitive. But it was all those things you pointed out on the whole reason I did it. So when I got into it, the first place you go is the internet. And you could Google anything and get the right answer and the wrong answer, and they're both going to have a ton of evidence behind it. And so that's where I was looking for, like what you're doing here on the podcast. Look at someone that I can relate with, that's sharing their insights,
Yes.
and immediately have buy-in. Because I know, all right, well, culturally, we probably grew up the same. We have some of the same foundational things.
Yes.
But when it came to the fitness part of it, I felt like nobody was talking to us. I was listening, like it all made sense. I was like, but do they really understand? That's just how I felt about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so getting into that coaching space, like nobody is really trying to give Polynesians the tools that what makes them different. Everybody's uniquely different, but I haven't gone through that myself. And searching for knowledge and someone I could connect with, and felt like was speaking to me. I felt like I had to do something, and that's where I find myself in this space. And probably how we came across each other on the algorithm, and it's led to so many amazing things. But there's so much work to be done.
Yeah, the algorithm of the hemisphere. How would you say somebody come to you? Say I come to you and say, Kia, I need help. I'm overweight. I don't have the desire to work out. I don't have the desire to eat well. I'm depressed. Where do I start? How do I start?
That's a great question. And I hate answering questions with questions, but I found that to be the most impactful way to do it. And so I try to make it relatable. And so I would ask somebody, though, I know you're an entertainer. I know you're good at certain things. So I would look at you and say, all right, well, if someone wanted to learn fire knife dancing, no understanding whatsoever, what should they work on first? And so you're taking this very complex piece of information and trying to give them the one right answer. There's no one right answer. And so I started asking questions and say, okay, well, what are you doing right now for that problem? So what are you doing right now to lose weight? Well, nothing. Okay. Have you tried anything before? No. Just at the point where I want to lose weight. Okay.
Yeah.
You ask a couple surface level questions. And I think a lot of that, like you alluded to earlier, is making people ask themselves. You're not teaching them anything new. You're reminding them, I'm not currently doing anything. And nothing's worked because I haven't tried anything. We'll just try. And so the biggest first lessons I try to get people right away is just start where you're at.
Mm.
Everybody waits for the perfect weather to be out, waits
Mm.
for that next paycheck to come in, or wait till my kids home. Start right there.
Mhm.
And then that inertia or that momentum builds up over time. You're not going to come out and be a great performer like yourself right out the gate, but you started that inertia, you started that ball rolling down the hill at some point in time.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to relay all that in a 10-second conversation, but you can find out really quick with surface level
Yeah.
questions just asking.
What I find out too is like speaking with some of my people, they ask me, you know, what do I do or how do I do it, you know? And I like how you say, start where you at. Don't wait till you get new clothes or you get a new haircut, then you're gonna start, or you get a new job, then you're gonna start. Like you say, just start where you're at. However you're doing it, just go.
Yeah.
And like you say, if you just need a little push or just hear something positive, just hear something loving, just feel that love to help them, because sometimes they all want to, they just want to feel love.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation that they're at home or at work, they don't get that connection. So what we do, we all do it, right? What is that? We just eat to kill to comfort ourselves.
It is comfort. It is comfort. That there you get to this crossroad where is this comfort or is this escaping? We call it escapism.
Mm.
So humans will usually find patterns in their day that's comfortable because the body wants to be at this restful state or homeostasis, and that's how we are as people. And so I'm going to say we're as comfortable.
Yeah.
And the challenge that would be to get outside that comfort zone, but also by seeking patterns and things that happen in repetition. Well, this is outside of that,
Mm-hmm.
and your body and your mind will start giving you reasons why you shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to break up that comfortable,
Right.
expectable,
Yeah.
predictable pattern that you have. And I think that's what our biggest holdup is. At the end of the day, it's literally you versus you.
Yeah.
You
And don't
talk yourself in and talk yourself out of stuff.
and don't
all
be
the time.
hard. Because I'm hard on myself sometimes. You know what I mean? And I go to the comfortable stage. You know, I admit that. You know, I go to the comfort food, and then we feel junk, and then I have to dig myself out of the basket again and like come out. You know,
Next year.
you know, we build our own little prison in ourselves.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We build our own little walls, and that's my comfortable stage.
Mm.
And I think we all do that in our own life. And we got to find, like you say, it's all come to us. It's finding a way to kind of bring those walls down and to break out of that comfort zone and just start from your mental, from loving yourself first.
Yes.
No matter what stage you're in, no matter if you're 600 pounds, no matter if you're 100 pounds. It's just trying to find that love for yourself and people that just love you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because we all can't do what Kia do. We all can do what I do. Do what you can do, and just make it work and just keep going. And thank you for sharing that. You know, how can you help somebody with building self confidence?
I like using analogies.
Yeah.
This helps me break things down, and it's hard to swim in an ocean that you're drowning in unless you learn to swim differently. The ocean's not going to change, but you have to change your approach. And I think when people realize that, like, well, why I keep sinking down the bottom, your approach is not working. And the ocean's trying to tell you something, and it doesn't care either way. It's us. You have to care about staying afloat and above water. And if you're not right now, you've got to change something. It's very unforgiving, and the ocean's always going to be there, whether you're there or not. But the successful swimmers have figured something out to stay afloat and keep their head above water. And so you have to look at your situation, look at your ocean, and decide, well, is the approach I'm taking to stay above water working? And if not, that's probably at the root of what you need to be addressing. So if it's weight, my problem is I eat too much. If you can't measure it, it's very, very difficult to manage it. And so I would tell people, most of my people, I don't change anything. We're just measuring. let's see what you do, and then let's look at the trends and let's make small changes, because that's what builds up over time.
Yeah.
You get this little change. I think we also, I'm going to go out on a limb here too and say that we both kind of seek perfection. We want to do it the best.
Yeah.
We want to do it the fastest. We want to be the most successful at something. I feel like that also hinders us in a way, because I'm not going to do that if it's not the best thing possible. So it stops from taking these little steps to be okay with imperfection. Imperfect progress is still progress. At the end of the day, we should be all right with it. All right, is it?
Can you say that again?
Imperfect progress, starting where you're at. At the end of the day, it's still progress, even if it's 1%, because that builds up through time.
And that help build your self-confidence too, right there. I love that analogy, man. Thank you for sharing. You have any question? I see you had some notes. You had some questions you wanted to cover.
I had so much to cover, and I know there's so much space in people's attention span and what they want. But I wanted to ask you some questions and
go for
float things around, because I know, being someone that does interview, it's so interesting to find out more, but it also is really a chance for me to find out more about you, and get to spend some time with you and learning about your journey and this message you have. You got your beautiful wife over here too. She's a big part of the story. You share the story I thought was so profound that I asked yourself, what made you want to start a podcast? And you said your wife said something to you that really resonated. She says, "Hon," she called you something, sweetheart.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. In her soft, sweet voice that she has, she tells you, you've been podcasting your whole life.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very profound, because the things that you're really, really good at are probably the things that feel effortless to you. And without an outside person highlighting that for you, you would never been like, oh, you know what, you're right. I just haven't been recording the whole time.
Yeah.
And I can tell from being around you, have this pull, you have this natural draw to people to want to ask you questions, and you do such a great job at listening. I thought that was very, very profound, and something that should resonate with most people. Yeah. Because when you brought up coaching stuff, you said, all right, what's the number one thing people struggle with? It's not the eating, it's not the exercising, it's not any of these psychological terms. It's most of these people don't feel like they're heard.
Yeah.
Talking all day, not heard, or they're not seen. So to be on your platform and have someone make you feel like I'm heard, and you have plenty of people that tune in, that's very, very rare. I think that's so unique. And finding out more about how you got to that process, I think, is one of the most question driving things for me.
No, thank you. You know, I was sharing with you, I'm actually a shy person.
He told me that. I was like, there's no way.
For those of people that really like know me, I'm actually a shy person. I'm like, you know, don't talk. I'm behind the scene. My wife knows that. People that are, you know, grew up with, I'm actually a shy person. So this is actually all new for me to come out of this. I guess when it's time to turn it on, you turn it on. Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually a quiet, probably people don't believe me, but yeah, I'm actually a shy person, or quiet. I keep to myself. You know, I don't bother anybody. I don't like to bother people or ask for help. That was just kind of my thing. But yeah, like you asked me that, you know, why the podcast? And, you know, my wife she said, do your own podcast. Do it your way. Your life is a podcast. And she said, you've been podcasting your whole life and you didn't even know that. You know,
now you actually have an actual podcast.
And now, yes, we're here, and I share with you, like, you know, my first one I put out, couple guys reached out, and, you know, they were going through the same journey, you know, and my wife looked at me and said, you got to keep going. You know, you got to keep sharing, you got to keep going. And that's why we're here today. I get to meet amazing people like yourself with what you're doing, you know, amazing stuff. And I do follow you, and, you know, y'all know this man right here, what an amazing career that you have, all the content you put out. I just want to let you know, give you that love too. I do look up to what you do too, you know, and everything that you do, your fitness journey, and in the firefighter, a family man, and what I love the most is you fly here to learn about the culture and to be in tune with the spirit too, being connected where your dad came from, and that's not too many people do that. You know, not too many people that I know do that, to come all the way from Missouri or wherever you're at, just to be connected, just to be connected to the land and to find the culture. And you want to share that in Missouri, and do your own fire knife and your own culture. Bro, that's amazing. You know, that's amazing. I don't hear that as much. We hear a lot of people go out, but they stay in their basket. You know what I mean? They stay in their basket. That's their comfort zone. But I love what you do. You're not afraid to step out and to learn about your culture, and you know, talk about the Tao. And that is a blessing for me too. You know, just to have you on my show, and I want to say our show, and we continue to share this. And I wish we had like 10 hours to sit down.
We probably could talk for 10
You know what I
hours.
mean? I know we're at 10 hours to sit down, but you know, we respectful of your time too, and everything that we do. But no, brother, I wanted to cover that. You know, your foundation. You want to share about your foundation? The
Tuala
Foundation.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit. Looking back to reconnect with our roots. And so there's Polynesians in Missouri. If you're unaware of where it is, it's centrally located in the middle of the states. So we don't have the palm trees, we don't have the ocean or mountains. And being someone who grew up there and not exposed to a lot, not able to sit in these places and talk to other ambassadors of the culture like yourself, there's not a whole lot of it. We're there, but distance creates that space to where you can start to forget things. And having this avenue or building these pipelines where we connect the forgotten island or this mass of people that are away from home. You get to a stage of life where you long to learn more about where you're from and who you are and why you do things. And creating this pipeline where we can get people tied in with other ambassadors to learn Siva-Afi, the language, or more ambassadors that are sharing their story like you, to get connected with that. And I think it's important, just like we talked earlier, to not wait till it's perfect, but just start where you're at. And I'm learning so much and get the opportunity to meet people like yourself. And I would just encourage anybody that's got this vision. You can dream about it all day, but it's just a dream while you're thinking about it. And just take little literal steps that way. And you never know what happens.
I like that.
To not plan it. Have your purpose in mind. Plans go bad all the time. Seeing that as a first responder and knowing that life and time is short, just like our time with content, is to make the most impactful move you can with what you got. But you're headed steadily towards your purpose. So thank you for letting me share that about the foundation.
No, thank you. And we're looking forward to learn more about that too. And I appreciate sharing that. And just a few more questions before we roll out. And if you have a question you want to throw in, please. You talk about your tatau. Is that still part of the process or the goal?
What I've learned is that from everybody.
Or you have any questions about it?
I feel like I could have questions for days, but one of the biggest things I've learned, and you tapped into this a bit too, is to just be ready for it and to be in the right space to be ready to receive it. There's a time where I was chasing a tatau, hitting a body weight goal, hitting a bench press, but it was literally when I stopped chasing it and started learning more and understanding why.
Right there, bro. You hit it right there, bro.
I just hope I'm ready and worthy to receive it when the time does come.
You hit it right there. Anyone that's asking when, where, wow, how, who, red or blue, is just be ready yourself here. Don't worry about the physical. Don't worry about the physical. Is be ready here and here. Okay? Because that's where you're gonna pull from when you lay down to surrender your body to the owl. You just allow that spirit to take you. And that you just hit it right there. And that's a great answer right there. For anyone that's asking, when you're ready or how you know, right there. That is the perfect, and that is my answer my wife and I give to the people.
Mm.
Do not worry about how big or how tiny or how you have to be muscle. That don't matter. It's surrender yourself, have that connection with God, because that's where you're gonna pull from. Once when you lay down to receive the out, and that should answer all everyone's questions right there.
What answered my questions is the whole video that has got me in this spot in the first place. Refer back to his video, and every one of those holdups, every one of those questions, every one of those doubts that I have, literally went off and read it. So I would advise, I'm sure you'll have the link somewhere. Refer back to that video. For one of those people like me that had all these reasons why I shouldn't and why I don't deserve, watch. It's a very thought-provoking in paradigm shifting video. That's what led me to this, and that's why I'm so glad that you do share your story.
Thank you.
Because you never know that somebody in the middle of Missouri, of all places,
we'll find each other right in the middle of Hawaii, right?
Literally meet right here. So it's all because you took imperfect steps to get where you're at. But check that video out. I would highly suggest it.
I appreciate it.
Very informative.
Thank you. Thank you. You have anything you want to cover before we roll out?
Can I do rapid fire questions?
Go for it.
Real quick, but I think for everybody want to know.
No, you're good. We got time.
Okay.
We got time. No rush.
Just rapid fire answers, questions. I always got a couple of them.
Okay.
Suggested reading. Do you have any top 2-3 books you would suggest somebody reads, or something that you found interesting, or even a video, audio book, any of those that you found impactful?
Thank you for the question. On my journey I was seeking for help for myself, for my self-confidence to find who I am, what a man should be. Because I kind of lost myself doing that whole brokenness in my marriage, in myself. And one of the books I went to, and it was from Jason O. Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, Battle Cry. And it talks about, being emotional incarcerated. How to break free, how not to sit in a basket, not to bundle all your emotions in there, but how to share, how to come out of that. Because that was me. I was hiding. I didn't know how to express. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't have no compassion. I didn't know how to love on somebody if they're hurting, or, all I say, hey, just be tough, get up, So that really kind of broke down in my own marriage. I used it. So Battle Cry was one of my go-to books.
Battle Cry. That's
Battle
not
Cry.
one I've checked out.
Battle Cry. Mr. Jason O. Wilson.
Okay.
That one, and Rebuilding My Habits Again, that Atomic Habit book.
A great book. Yes.
Yeah.
Atomic Habits.
So that was my first book I never did read in high school. That was not my biggest strength, my biggest whatever.
We didn't have YouTube back then. We couldn't listen to audiobooks.
That wasn't my biggest strength, and I hid from that. I was ashamed to read in front of people because I was a slow reader. I didn't know how to pronounce the words and all that. So I took my time, and the Atomic Habits. That was my first book I ever read. And Jason O. Wilson, and tuning into the scriptures. I had to jump back into my spiritual side to relearn the scriptures. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I had to reconnect myself with that. That's one of my hours, is reconnect with my Savior, is relearning the scriptures and strengthening my faith, and so I can, get back in that path again, and so those are the 3 books. Were those 3?
Just 3.
One of the podcasts I love to listen to is, this is the one that really helped me and my wife. This is our go-to, is Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza.
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
So that is the go-to right there.
I want to say where your thoughts become your actions. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza, check him out. He's one of the people I was suggested to as well.
And one of my best time for meditation is I'm driving to work. I pop those in, and it helps me reset my worries, my anxiety, what I got to take care of next. And so that's my go-to, our go-to, me and my wife's. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Next question. I'll wrap this up.
No, you're good.
You're good. Random question.
You're good.
All right. Top 3 foods people should eat if they first time to Hawaii.
Wow.
You took me to a food truck yesterday. I
Yeah.
told you about the 80-20%.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to not eat 100% of it. Phenomenal food trucks.
Food to go to. What are you feeling? Come to Hawaii. A lot of great local food. We like to go to local trucks, local families. We try to stay away from the restaurant. Nothing wrong with restaurant, but we like to support our locals. So whatever you're feeling, fish, shrimp food, anywhere on the island is good. Here, this side we have Papa Ola's, we have Tita's Grill, we have Kolohe Cafe. If you like Thai food, we got Vietnamese food. We love those. We have Korean barbecue. So it all depends on what you're feeling. If you like the local, we have Samoan food in Hau'ula, Masa stores.
We got it all.
Yeah, so we have it all. Whatever you're feeling on that day. And hey, come to vacation, just dig in. Do not worry about your diet. Come and eat everything over here.
Calories don't count in Hawaii.
Don't count over here when you're on vacation. This is your reset when you come to Hawaii. Enjoy the island. Enjoy the food. Yes.
It's easy to do. Last question is just random ones I'm pulling on the top of my head.
No, you're good, brother.
If opportunity were to come, would you ever come and visit Kansas City and meet some of the people out there?
Oh, that is 100%. That is 100%. I don't know where that place is.
We will get you there. I think if the Lord provides a way, you'll come and see Missouri. There's a great number of Polynesian populace out there, and we're known for our barbecue.
Ooh.
And the Chiefs and Royals. We have some sports teams, but there is maybe not as good food trucks, seafood. But there's a ton out there, and
we love seafood. Oh, definitely, definitely make my way out there. Come out there, yeah, man. I'd like to see the church, the foundation, all that tour.
Yeah, we talked.
I had family that were stationed out there for a little bit, but they moved. My sister Ave, but yeah, no, definitely. I'm open to whatever, to where we need to go, wherever the Lord guide us. We gotta
get you out of your basket and come to.
You gotta get me off the island so we can go explore Missouri and visit Kia over there. No, definitely, brother. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. We're good, brother.
We're good.
We're good for now.
We're good. Thank you for having me. If you want more information, we do have a foundation site up. It's www.tautuafoundation.com. More about our purpose, and if you want to contribute to our cause, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to, but you can follow what we're up to next, and more from there. So thank you for having me on.
And if you're looking for a great coach to help start your physical fitness journey, you also can find Kia where?
You can find me on Instagram as our main platform. It's at Tautua Fitness altogether online, or tautuafitness.com. That's TAUTUAFITNESS.com. Or if you don't have socials and you just got the email, you could email me directly too as well. It's info at tautuafitness.com.
And there we have it, family. What a great episode. What a great show. I know we have so much we want to cover.
We got to be hungry because we got to talking about food.
Yes. But thank you. This is the Gets Done show where we get to reset, rebuild, reconnect. And that's what we just did at this time. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. Love you guys. Cheers. Let's go. Woo. That was awesome.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't take you on too long.